What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Combat Corner. Part of Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram at Combat Corner Fight Network and our main um, Instagram, Come On Now podcast. And make sure you follow us there. We appreciate it. Thank you in advance. Let's jump in on the topic at hand. Let's give a shout out to the sponsor of our show first, Natalie Lopez, attorney at law. When life hits hard, the law firm Natalie Lopez hits back harder. Practicing the areas of criminal defense and family law. She can be reached at 954 888 8833. That's 954 888 8833. And on Instagram at nat.guilty. That's nat.guilty. She will fight for you. Appreciate you, Natalie, for your continued support of our show. Let's jump in on the topic at hand, man. This 135-pound division of the BKFC, which has gotten a little messy of late. And we had some breaking news yesterday about yesterday, the day before yesterday, about a fight that was announced in the form of Jamel Herring against Nate Maness in Palm Desert, California, on May 22nd at the Acrisure Arena for the vacant bantamweight championship of the world. You may ask, vacant? What are you talking about, vacant? Didn't Justin Joyboy Ibarrola just win that belt in December in Hollywood with a third round KO of Royal Ryan Reaver? Could have swore we just saw that. And yes, you would be correct. He did win that belt. He was a 9-0 champion. He won the belt that had been vacated by Alberto Blas, who left the BKFC and went over to BYB for various reasons that I'm aware of, but I don't really need to go in it. And you probably are aware of what they are too. And while Blas was a devastating and dominating champion, undefeated, he had a stoppage win over Ryan Reaver. That had been Reaver's only loss prior to losing to Justin Ibarrola for the championship in December. You could argue that the guys that fought for that vacant belt, because initially they had talked about it being a tournament, which I completely thought was ridiculous and made no sense. When they fought for that vacant belt, you had a couple of guys who were worthy and had earned the opportunity to fight for that belt. You're talking about a guy in Ibarrola who was 8-0. You're talking about a guy in Reaver who was 7-1. So you had two guys with a combined 15-1 record in bare knuckle at BKFC. They were ranked number 1 and number 2. They were in line. So whether or not, even though Reaver lost to Blas, Ibarrola had not fought Blas, and he did come away as champion with that win. But again, these guys had earned this opportunity. This announcement of Jamel Herring and Nate Maness, quite frankly, in my opinion, is odd. And I'm going to try to avoid blasting the decision, but I am a realist, and I give truthful, thoughtful opinions on things and commentary, and I report what I report, and I talk about what I talk about. But you have two guys in bare knuckle fighting who have a combined 3-0 record, and they're fighting for a title. You have the Nate Maness team and fans who have been saying that Justin Ibarrola has been running from him, which I find personally be ridiculous. Ibarrola has taken on every opponent put in front of him. He sells a truckload of tickets. He's local to South Florida. He has beaten everybody. And one thing he does not do is run. And he fought, I think, 6 times over like 16 or 14 or 16 months. He's a guy who's taken fights constantly. And again, this is not about Nate Maness. This is not about Jamel Herring. This is about, did you earn an opportunity? And when you're 2-0 and your win was over Tyler Randall, who was fighting at 125 pounds, that does not seem to me to be a fight that would earn you a championship fight, let alone saying that Ibarrola is running away from you, because that's wholly preposterous. I know Justin Ibarrola, and this is not because I'm cool with him or I like him or whatever. This is about a guy who's beaten Ryan Reber, Roberto Armas, Velasquez, Derek Perez, Justin Street, Alex Caruso. Is his name? Rick Caruso. I don't know why I said Alex, the basketball player, and so forth. He's beaten everybody. He has 6 KOs, 6 KOs in 9 fights. He fought in December. He fought in July, March, December. So he fought 4 times in 12, September, June. So over an 18-month period, he fought 6 times. This guy ain't running from nobody. I know for a fact that he wanted to fight Jamel Herring. I know he wanted that fight. I talked to him about it. He wanted to fight Jamel Herring. He called for Jamel Herring before Jamel Herring even had a fight in the BKFC. He called for Jamel Herring because Jamel Herring is a world-class boxer with a great boxing career and was a former boxing champion with a name. Now, Jamel Herring lost to Shakur Stevenson. He lost to Jermaine Ortiz. He lost to Jackson John England. He lost 3 of his last 4 boxing matches. And he gets a fight against Matt Guyman. He wins the fight in a decision, albeit I was not impressed with the win. I wasn't impressed with it. I mean, it's a win over a guy who's unranked. And yet you have a guy who, Jamel Herring, with all respect, is a guy who just got to the BKFC, has 1 win, beat an unranked fighter, fighting a guy who has 2 wins, who beat 2 unranked fighters at the 135 division. Tyler Randall is ranked at 125. He is not a 135 fighter. And these guys are fighting for a strap. While Ryan Reber is fighting Joshua Oxendine next month in Clearwater. So, respectfully, I don't understand this decision. This is a decision that I do not get. And I get it. There's constant moving parts, and I may not know all the details. I know that Justin Ibarrola wanted that Jamel Herring fight. And I know that he wasn't being given that fight. So who the hell did they want Justin Ibarrola to fight? I understand they were probably upset, regardless of what they say, what has been said publicly. They were upset that he went and he fought at Misfits. He fought a jobber. Like, Joy Boy went to England on a week's notice and fought a jobber in a fight that a boxing match he knew he would win. And he did. And I get it. You don't want to have your champions fighting in other organizations. I understand that. I agree with it. Mike Perry is the king of violence. He's fighting an MMA match next month, or in May. Andre Arlovsky is your BKFC heavyweight champion. He's fighting on that same damn card now. So what rules are we living by? Ibarrola sells tickets. He's a showman. He performs. And yet we're sitting here talking about this. Again, a boxing match and a bare knuckle fight are not the same thing. I could truly get it in a bare knuckle situation. But you got Mike Perry, who's your king of violence, who won't fight Lorenzo Hunt. And we all know why. Going to fight Nate Diaz over in MVP promotions for Jake Paul in an MMA fight. And now we got Andre Arlovsky also listed on that card. And who was he fighting? Who was he fighting again? Junior Dos Santos. Well, no, it wasn't Junior Dos Santos. I saw it the other day that I was shocked. Here we go. Here we go. Or maybe he's been pulled off. He was on here. I saw this the other day. Maybe it's not happening now. Maybe it's not happening now. Maybe it's been changed. All right, scratch that. I know I saw it. I'm guessing it's been changed because he was listed on this MVP card. I saw it literally the other day. So it probably got changed. But we're sitting here right now where we got Mike Perry fighting on this card for MVP against Nate Diaz. He's your king of violence. He's undefeated. If he loses to Nate Diaz, which I expect that will happen because it's an MMA fight, how does that make your king of violence look? Not too good, in my opinion. You guys call it a belt. I know it's not a real belt, but it's still called a belt. Like I don't pussyfoot around with this stuff. I take the combat sports world seriously. I think the MVP card is a joke, honestly. It's just having a fight to have a fight. They're all fighting for a check, which is fine, but there's nothing beyond it because Jake Paul's not putting together an MMA organization. He's putting on an MMA card, and he's using a couple of old lady fighters who we're all addicted to car crashes that we want to watch fight just because it was a fight we would have loved to have seen 15 years ago, but or 10 years ago. And now they're going to give it to us, and we're going to watch two old versions of these ladies fight each other, and then we're going to have a fight with Nate Diaz and Mike Perry and Francis Ngannou and Felipe Lins, an Ngannou Lins fight that literally nobody gives a shit about. But I understand they were upset about Ibarrola fighting over in Misfits. Heck, I asked him, like, why are you doing this? For money. It's for money. That's why he did it. For money. He made a lot of money to do it. For basically what amounted to an exhibition fight where he barely got hit. That you knew he wasn't going to lose. That said, if you want to vacate the belt and he's going to keep fighting in Misfits, then I understand it. I understand it. I get it. He vacated the belt. You want to say vacate, stripped, whatever. He wasn't going to be able to fight in other organizations as a champion. I understand it. But this is not a fight to make for a title, Herring and Maness. It's not. It's not. Again, this has nothing to do with these two guys. Nothing. This has to do with the value of your strap, the value of your championship. You have two guys that fought for this belt in December, and there will not be a title defense because, for whatever reason, there will not be one. I look at Nate Maness's record in MMA. He's got 7 UFC fights. He was 5-2. Can I be real? I watch MMA pretty much a lot. I don't even know who some of these guys are. So if we're using the UFC thing as we got a UFC guy versus a boxer. I mean, realistically, if Jamel Herring doesn't win, it's going to be embarrassing for him. I'm going to be real. He's a boxer. He should win over an MMA fighter in bare knuckle boxing. Like, I don't know who Johnny Munoz is. I have no idea who Luke Sanders is. I got no idea who Tony Gravely is. I do know who Umar Nurmagomedov is, and he lost to Umar Nurmagomedov by decision. I don't know who Tagir Ulembekov is. I guess another guy like Umar. And that was again at 125. So this is a guy who's a 125-pound fighter being pushed into 135 and fighting for a belt. They had talked about doing a tournament prior to the Ibarrola fight, which I thought was ridiculous. You didn't need that for that. For this, you need a tournament. This should be a tournament without a doubt. Reber should be involved. Keith Richardson, a former champion, should be involved. He's coming off of a he's 1-2 in his last 3. He did lose via KO to Usmanov. Bezkad Usmanov is 1-1 in the BKFC. Or I'm sorry, 2-1. He lost to Jimmy Rivera. He beaten Richardson and Loken. He should be a part of a tournament. Like that would be how you would crown a legitimate champion here at 135, would be to have these guys fight in a tournament. And I don't know. I don't know why they're not going that direction this time. You're going to have a champion who's either 2-0 or 3-0 as your BKFC bantamweight champion in May. I don't find that to be a good look. It is my opinion. In fact, if that's the direction that you're going to go, then I would have called up Kai Stewart and said, you want to cut to 135? Do you want to fight Jamel Herring? Because at the very least, then, you have a homegrown guy from the BKFC and Kai Stewart who says, I'll go to 135. But you can't strip him of his 45 strap, because then that would kill the potential fight with El Gallo or Plazaola. But that would have been a fight there, because I'm going to be real. BKFC people don't know who these two guys are. They haven't fought. They haven't fought. You're devaluing your belt. This is a complete devaluing of the BKFC bantamweight strap, in my opinion. Because I think you earn shit. And winning one fight is not earning a championship fight. Heck, I told Ibarrola this. I told Joy Boy directly. I said, Jamel, you want to give a guy who's got one win a championship fight? I was shocked. I know why he did, but I thought it was crazy. I told him so. Guys want to know. He ain't earned it. You had to cut your teeth for this shit. He gets one fight over a guy who's not even in the top 5. Don't even know if he's top 10 in the division, because they don't go past top 5. And you want to give this guy a title shot? I thought that was crazy. I was a whole lot more interested in watching him potentially fight Kai Stewart at 35. I was. This was the tournament. This was the time to make a real tournament, a 4-fighter or 8-fighter tournament, and make this thing last a year. You can build it. And at the end, you got a guy who won 3 fights. So at the very least, if Jamel Herring was to have won the belt, he would have won the belt winning 3 fights to do it. So he'd been 4-0. Or Maness, if he was to have won the belt, he would have had to win 3 more fights to do it. He'd be 5-0 in an 8-fighter tournament. That's a champion that you can stake your claim on. That's a champion you can build on. And again, I'm not in the financials of this. I am talking 1000% from a sport perspective, from a respectability of your champion perspective. That's how I view things. That's how I view it. I'm completely transparent about that. Like right now, there's all kinds of conversation about who Kai Stewart will fight next, whether it's Plazola or El Gallo. There's a guy right now that they should probably be looking at too. That's Nathan Rivera. I don't know how Nathan Rivera is being forgotten in this conversation for a fight with Kai Stewart. I don't know how. But I really think that the BKFC is dropping the ball here. I don't like it. Of course, I'll watch it. Of course, I'll talk about it. But I don't see how anyone's going to sit here and walk away after a Jamel Herring, Nate Maness title fight with 2 guys with a combined 3 fights in bare knuckle, not just the BKFC, in bare knuckle. Because at least if you had other fights in other organizations, you could say, okay, this guy's got more than one bare knuckle fight. But in this case, you got 2 guys with 3 total fights. I understand there's financials involved in all this stuff. The same way that we haven't seen a fight with you know, Dave Mundell and Mike Perry. We haven't seen a fight with Dave Mundell and Marcus Edwards. It's weird. It's weird. We haven't seen the fight. I hope we get the Arlovsky Perdomo fight. I don't know why we have an interim belt involving Rico Franco and Connor Tierney when Dustin Page just won the belt over Julian Lane, even though I thought Julian Lane won the fight. At the very least, at the 55 division, you did do a tournament, a real tournament where they had to fight each other, albeit Franco Tenaglia fucked the BKFC again, as I'm not surprised because he fucked them before and now he fucked them again. And now they're put in a position where Ben Bonner is going to fight Austin Trout anyhow, even though I did think Ben Bonner beat Tenaglia, and I think most people believed it. Just a very, very odd situation. I mean, right now, you're looking at, obviously you have a guy like Roberto Armas who's being deployed to the Middle East, but he would be a guy who would absolutely deserve the opportunity to fight in this tournament. There are guys that could fight in this tournament. I know AJ Rodriguez just came off of a loss to Armas, but he would have, I consider him a top 8 guy in the division, and he could have a legitimate fight and be in this tournament. Like that's just, it's my perspective, man. People don't have to agree with it, but I'm a little bit disappointed. Heck no, I'm a lot of bit disappointed. I'm disappointed because Ibarrola is not fighting in the BKFC anytime soon in the near future. He's a great fighter. Love watching him fight. He's a great performer, a great entertainer, a great showman. But we're sitting here right now, and we have a title fight now between a guy who's 1-0 versus a guy who's 2-0. And when you're this deep into your business as a company, as a fighting organization, it just doesn't sit right with me that going into a BKFC not 89, which means you've got well over 150 fight cards in BKFC history, that we're sitting here with a champion who might be 2-0. Might be 2-0. That's some shit you have when you just start. But to have a 2-0, a potential 2-0 champion, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, man. This might ruffle some feathers, but I don't care. It's my opinion. And I give my opinion on stuff like this because I respect the sport too much. I respect the grind. I respect what fighters got to go through. And there are fighters that have gone through more and cut their teeth more in this sport than the 2 guys that are getting a strap chance. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't care that Reber lost Ibarrola. Reber has a claim to be in this fight. He has a claim to be in this fight. At the very least, in a tournament to win this belt. But hey, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is Combat Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.
I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in. Through the blood and the sweat, y'all know we ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. I've been down from the jump. Ain't no love lost, we just really doing us. Go and take your seat, looking silly getting up. Y'all know what it is, let me tell them what it was. It was 24/7.